Anyway, regardless, that was Cure in the bottom right side. The red Zerg player, he is Solar from Kaisi Gaming. Oh, there we go. Let's do it again. Solar from Kaisi Gaming. Not sure why, but was okay. Well, he's gonna do it again. Okay, I was like, is he? So doing the introduction 3 times. Maybe trying to buy himself some time as well. Maybe he was still in the other screen, right? Oh, we're sorry, we're AFK screen. Okay, we'll start momentarily. It's not really a commercial screen. It's mostly just like a the AFK screen. Which doesn't necessarily mean AFK, just not really the active stream part of the screen. The not so active stream parts of the stream screen. That is that's what it's called. Solar here actually is checking out this middle area now. He's like, you know, if people are going to start proxying there, I better have my overlords cross paths. Because that looked kind of terrifying. We'll go for his own setup here now. And Cure, I mean, he does do the proxy Rex now and again. I doubt we'll see it twice in a row by Cure. And I mean, if we are going to see it, it's more likely to be against Solar rather than DRG. Solar is a player that is known to not really be too fantastically strong against it. I know we just saw DRG lose 2 times against it as well, but that is just part of the play, I suppose. Kind of misjudging the situation there a couple of times, and then that happens, right? That still does happen. Going for the Hellion follow-up here as the Zergling Reaper offensive is kicking off into full gear. So far, looks like we already have 2 Zerglings going down. Getting 2 Zerglings, that's kind of nice. Should make it a lot easier for the Reaper to kind of do its thing here. Try to deny creep to miss and such. But yeah, 2 Zergling kills, that is not bad. I know that Solar also actually one of the players that tends to struggle to keep his Zerglings alive in the fairly early parts of the game as well. Against those first Reapers. Quite consistently we see him still lose the Zerglings here. Ooh, that was nice. Good shot right there. Solar waiting a little bit longer for that another creep tumor to come down because, well, that Reaper, he was eyeing it up. Does a good job so far. Tiny little advantages going into Cure's favor here so far. Tiny little minuscule advantages, but they can grow into bigger advantages here, of course. Now this squad here, not really intending to do a lot of economic damage or anything of the sorts. More so just kind of keeping an eye on the creep spread. And keeping an eye on whether or not Solar's coming across the map here with a ton of roaches. Or Zerglings or anything of the sorts. Liberator here, also coming up for Cure. It's got quite a posse of these Hellions now. But there's a good Overlord spread, keeping an eye out on where these Hellions are going. Allowing Cure to reposition his queens comfortably and consistently. Wait a moment, what happened to the Overlords on the top side? Did that get taken out? Fairly certain there was another Overlord in the that region. There is a Viking flying around here, so maybe that is what happened to him. Double engineering bay being constructed, as well as the second and third barracks here. starting up. Kicking off that production as well. Kjør ramping this up to be quite the intense macro game. Is just going to stick to what looks to be the Marine. And I would assume Widowmine as well, so far as I've seen from him. We see the reactors, of course, on the way here. No siege tanks on the production tab. Assuming the factory is waiting to make use of one of those reactors. Just making some more medevacs as well. And there we go. There's those Widowmines now. Has to be careful on the creep, of course. The Zerglings are rather nimble. Got a pretty good good distance between them and the Hellions, and looks like they should be able to get every single one of them. Very good catch. Clean work there by Solar. Kjør still trying to get as many links as possible, but still usually not the case you want to have unfold before you when you are playing as the Terran in these types of situations. Do not want to lose those Hellions unnecessarily. Kjør behind this, also going for the factory or the armory. May have been used as hellbats later on during some other push as we well, see gain more and more popularity for the Terrans. Getting some creep once again. Trying to maybe add a chance to snipe away at some of the banelings there as well. Liberator doing its thing. Denying some mining. Kjør taking out most of the creep here consistently. It's costing him a lot of scans as well, but we'll be able to do quite a bit with the Marine drops so far. Is Solar ready for round 2? Oh, looks like he is. Okay. Looks like he is. He's gonna have the baneling speed momentarily as well. Should help him out a ton. Viking being gruesome to the Overlord that is trying to gain access. Get another scout going. Ooh, that baneling could have been big. That's still pretty big. Oh, Kjør! Jeez, man, Kjør's got to be more careful with his units here. Getting really close to just losing everything to a couple of banelings. Pretty good, eh? Pretty good. Solar getting ready for the next wave. I think Solar's in a pretty good position here, not gonna lie. He hasn't really taken any damage. He's managed to prevent Kjør to really keep pushing into him. Upgrades are looking okay. He's not taking any damage still from those drops. He even gets one of them for pretty much free. And all the Marines that were inside of that one as well, of course. He's defending consistently against everything that Kjør is doing, so yeah. Loving the play so far. Solar starting up the Lurker Den as well here with the Hive Tech right next to it. Is going to be able to start the transition into the next part of the Zerg army here. Okay, nice bit of mine. Okay, good dodge on that one also. Maybe a retarget could have been devastating in that situation from Kjør, but no problem. Yeah, Kjør still not finding any foothold to really push into Solar with. Still struggling to get his creep up though. That is one of the main things that Kjør has been able to put a real handle on. Oh, that's not the best Widow mine, and once again everything getting cleaned up here. Zerglings. Always awkward seeing the Zerglings kind of huddle around all those Widow mines and then just still being somewhat okay. Great splitting there from Solar. Truly impressive. The way he's sending off like 2 Zerglings after they get locked onto by a Widow mine, very impressive. That can be quite difficult to do, guys. You know what, that is pretty difficult to do actually. I've tried it myself. It's not a lot of time, there's a lot of panic. And suddenly a little line is about to kill all your hopes and dreams of winning the game. Alright, lurkers are available now. They will have both of the upgrades momentarily. Already having the range, that's a big deal here. Banelings, just gonna roll in right on top of those SCVs. That ain't bad. Oh, one Baneling there could have also jumped in on the SCV killing train, but this is all he is getting, it seems. 6 SCVs, it ain't bad. It ain't bad, but maybe he's overcommitted with his units on the left flank now. That means that the left flank is going to get pushed onto itself as well. So far seems to be still defended by Solar. +3/+3 is about to finish up here for Kjør. Only the +3 carapace upgrade for Solar available so far. And he should, of course, consider more so the ranged upgrades now as well, as that is kind of where his army composition is going towards. And there we go, there you have it. The +2 ranged weapons coming up. It's going to be a little bit, of course, until that is all made available. Ooh, big run-in with the Lynx here. I like how he wraps around the Terran army, trying to get as many of the Widow mines to friendly fire here as possible. Good cleanup. On the other side of the map, we have the lurkers kind of in disarray here. They're not that great against the lonely marauders, unless if they really outnumber them. Okay, you know what, that's still fair enough. This might be it, guys. This guy might just be the moment where everything falls apart for a blue Terran player. The Banelings, the Zerglings, everything rolling on in here. Getting right on top of the third base once again, where so many SCVs have already lost their lives. The reinforcements in shambles. In comes the rest of the army over Kjør, but it does not look like he will have enough to break this anymore. GG is called, and Solar takes game number 1. Well done. Well done there by Mr. Solar, getting himself the first victory here. Wasn't expecting him to. I thought that Kjør may have been able to take that one a little bit easier, but absolutely getting shut down there entirely on all fronts, continuously and consistently. And yeah, makes sense that Solar then in the end picks up that victory right there after a good amount of counterattacks, harassment, all that good stuff, putting quite a bump in the road for Kjør. Kjør here gonna have to readjust and reassemble his forces, rethink his actions, and try to figure out what exactly he can do differently here in order to still get this series to go into his favor, of course. The countdown. It's a fun show, actually. 8 out of 10 cats does countdown. It's a fun show. I don't know why I thought about that. Probably because, you know, the countdown that was going on. Alright. In the bottom right side, we got ourselves a blue Terran player. He is fighting for the Dragon, Phoenix, and the Gamers. He is the one and only, magnificent, fantastic Cure. Top left side, his opponent. He's a red Zerg player fighting for the KC Gamers. 1 point already set up for him. Needs one more in order to get himself into the winner's match. Solar. That is all he requires right now, of course. Cure needs to win 2 games in a row. It's not an impossibility for him, of course. A player that can collect his nerves quite easily. If he doesn't manage to win this, of course, in the loser match, that is going to be quite a strong player waiting for them as well. DRG either going to have to go up against Cure or Solar here so far. It looks like that will be Cure. And that means we'll have Solar versus Bjorn as well. That's a matchup that we're seeing quite often recently. 2 players that seem to be matching up with one another quite often. Usually it does go into Bjorn's favor though. That's kind of the bummer there for Solar. Being able to quite consistently get him into the same atmosphere as Bjorn. Get himself into the same group setting, the pathway and the bracket, right? Or cleared up all the way to Bjorn, and then Bjorn is there. And Bjorn still makes life very difficult for him usually. Right, Solar checking around with the Overlords, of course, in case if there is a proxy wreck. So far, looks like nothing of the case. Nothing of the sorts. And it's just a quick Reaper expand here coming up for Cure. I mean, he is known for just playing a very standard TVZ. Nothing too crazy, nothing too weird in particular. Just likes to do some of the most standard stuff overall in most of the matchups, which makes Cure one of the best players to kind of learn from and kind of try and see what he does exactly to figure out how you can improve your own play as well. Solar Hill again losing 2 of those Zerglings. Did happen the previous game as well, but it turned out that it did not matter in the long run. Not going to lose that first creep tumor though this time around. May still happen, of course. I think it happens a bit later on as well with the other one. As soon as it tried to spread. Right, Solar just droning up. Getting as many drones as possible right there, saving one of them as well. Not bad, not bad. Getting the 3rd base at a relatively early time, which is quite good to see as well. 3rd base for Cure here, not too far behind. We'll be able to kind of follow up with this overall. Hellions and Banshees are going to be the tickets here for Cure to try and get himself the victory. There we go. I mean, whatever drone you can get, you do try to get, but there's no necessity to get any drones just now. Would it be nice? Of course it would be nice, but that's about it though. Nothing else. Unless if you get like 6 drones, you know, that might be game ending. Or maybe 4, up above the number 4. And to be fair, even if he gets only 1 worker with the 2 Hellions and the Reaper, it still would be a little bit embarrassing feeling perhaps for Mr. Solar. Losing another creep tumor there, maybe a bit too straightforward with that one. Overlord trying to get all the scouting information that it needs. Marine hot on his heels though, trying to get rid of it. Overlord, it could have been safe, but I think it will go down now. Splat on the minimap. No, it lives. It still survives. It's not supposed to happen, I believe. A little bit of an F2 army movement, perhaps. Cure. Oh, might still get it here. Alright. 11 banelings on the way. I think the banelings should be enough to hold this, right? There we go. Getting a good connection. Waiting for the rest of the units to stack up a little bit more. The Banshees are doing a good job as well, though. The counterattack not really getting much done. But at least Solar is holding this off very, very decisively. Keeps the Banshees at bay also. Yeah, just hats off to Solar here. I think that is a beautiful display of skill right there. Not only being able to hold off the Hellbats with the marine pressure there, also being able to just handle those Banshees that were going on at the same time, hitting an entire different area, and yeah, doing so, both of which with seemingly quite a bit of ease. Very well done there by Solo. Good, proper execution. The two Banshees do stay alive, though, of course. So that is a potential threat still glooming in the not too far distant future. But also another threat that is available here is a couple of Banelings running into that third base. So far, no response just quite yet. And that is going to be quite a connection. 3 mules together with 8 SCVs go down. Ain't too shabby. That's pretty good. There's still a good amount of Zerglings down the bottom side as well. May decide to try and make them into Banelings also and then go in that way. He can do most of anything that he would like to. Actually, already sending those Zerglings back. You know what? I kind of like that as well. Oh, no, oh, there they are. In the Overlord. Yeah, this is starting to feel more and more favored towards Solar as time keeps going on. He keeps finding more and more value with his units and just is not taking any prisoners. He's not taking many risks here. It's just doing a clean cut, quite nicely executed ZVT. Oh, you're kidding me. That didn't hit. That actually didn't hit. Wow. I can't believe it. Well, at least it still gets the cancel, right? And the drone kill. So in a way, this is better for him. So now he got money for them both. Is that a... Okay, no, those are just Banelings. Lurker tech is being constructed though. Shouldn't be too far away. In comes the Baneling drop. 2 Widow Mines here are going to put an end to that. Who could have known? That's the way to counteract a Baneling drop. Just have 2 Widow Mines awaiting by an extractor. Or a refinery, sorry. Okay, Cure once again on his holy mission to rid the world of creep. Getting a good amount of overlords as well. Might be a slight supply block here for Solo so far, not quite yet. But it looks like we're getting closer and closer to that eventuality. Although he is doing a really good job with just kind of continuing the overlord production here. Yeah, he's not even going to get supply blocked by that. Losing 3 overlords, alright. That's fine. I thought that would happen. Already got them finishing up right now when I need them. Very well done by Solar. Cure. Going for the multi-pronged harassment. I think that's a good idea. think that's his best way to kind of get this party going his way. But it is still a scary thing, of course. Quite a scary thing indeed. Starting to drop some units there, not quite being able to do what he wants to. Oh, getting rid of the banelings, that's nice. Is Cure that good? Cure's really good. Like, he is really, really good. Especially in these online environments. He has some of the highest win rate. But it looks like Solar is just slapping him right now. Just not giving him any breathing room whatsoever. Which is quite impressive. Normally we see Cure be extremely volatile in this matchup. And not really give a lot of Zergs a lot of room to play with. Just kind of taking good trades consistently, continuously, and parade push his opponent to death. Now, so far we have seen Cure try all sorts of maneuvers to try and get himself into the favorable trading scenario, but Solar has been able to avoid most of those situations, as we can see on the units lost tab right here. Sure, it's still a little bit in favor for Cure, but look at the base count as well at the same time. Look at the income grab available here for Solar. He's okay with not being as efficient as Cure is, as long as it's not too far apart. And you know what? Talking about efficiency, that is some of the most efficient killing you can do, actually. Just get rid of the entire medevac and then all the units inside it as well. It's a heck of a lot of damage for not that much damage overall that you need to do. Cure has his moments for sure. Yeah, I mean, he did manage to get into the GSL finals not that long ago, right? I mean, he is a very good Terran player. I think he's pretty much on par with Innovation. Maybe just slightly below, just because he has less professional experience. But other than that, wouldn't really put them too far apart. They're very similar as well, I'd say, Cure and Innovation. Very similar in their playstyle. Cure maybe a little bit less likely to just keep on throwing cheese at his opponents. Innovation a bit more likely to try and do something like that. And particularly if he wants to play League of Legends. Ooh, Lurkers from Solar here on the top side. He really does like the Lurker tech. No question about that. Alright. Kind of a stalemate scenario here. Neither of these players really looking to push into one another. Well, actually, hold that thought. It looks like Solar lifting the curse. Will be going forwards here. A little bit late with the Marine pulling back. So those Banelings already quite close on top of this. Ooh, those Ghosts as well. Quite scary. Even a drone in there, but it's not going to get much accomplished. The siege tank line was a bit too wide, a bit too thick to really push through. And now it's off with the heads of all those Zerglings there. We'll have to have the Lurkers kind of maintain a temporary defensive setup here in order to prevent the counterattack from absolutely killing him. Solar is super rich. He is indeed super rich. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if he starts taking those 6 o'clock bases as well. May as well try, right? May as well try. You got the money for it. Even just some long distance mining. Anyway, he comes in here This time around, he has the Lurkers with him as well. The Lurkers seem to be able to deal a lot better with the siege tanks on the flanks. And just kind of moving backwards here again. I mean, not quite getting the trade that he wanted to, most likely, but still getting some of... Let me see, actually. Shift B. Was that an efficient battle? Yeah, it's somewhat an efficient battle, right? Looks okay. Could be worse, could be better, but in the situation that is, I'd say that's pretty good. I'm going for a counterattack with these Lurkers. I don't like this at all. Siege tanks and missile turrets there, ready to intercept. Also a supply depot wall stopping the Lurkers from just running on top of the siege tanks. So, very efficient defense there for Cure. Surprised he still has 3 siege tanks there, though, to be fair, but... You know, the more the merrier. I think most of his units now in the middle. Might still be an opportunity here for Solar to start pushing the top side, of course. We see some more units from Cure deciding to head that way as well. On that minimap. The bottom 6 o'clock base. It's a crucial part of this match here. Needs to be acquired by Cure if he does want to win this game. Oh, those ghosts in a little bit of trouble. Managed to get the hacker away from that location. The banelings are the real scary part. The Lurkers here now tasked with keeping the bio out. Actually tasked with trying to target down the planetary fortress instead. That becomes a big deal because that is not going to go down. And now suddenly Cure with an overextension onto that planetary fortress are chasing down the ghost that he had no business chasing down. Suddenly he finds himself in a very, very tenuous situation where his bank, it is starting to be a little bit lower than it once was. Ooh, banelings. Okay, banelings still managed to get somewhat of a connection there. The siege tanks are actually dealing with the Zerglings, and that's never a good sign. Zerglings are in fact pretty good against the siege tanks as long as there's not a massive wall of marines in front of them. The concussive shell timing, yeah. The 18-minute concussive shell here comes kicking in as well. I mean, he must be anticipating somewhat of a transition at some point, right? Whether that be the Ultralisk or the Lurkers in this case. Of course, the Lurkers is quite useful to have that Marauder squadron with as well. We're seeing a Great Aspire coming out for Solar, though. And I think the Great Aspire is a very good choice in a situation like this when you're up against this amount of siege tanks. There's no Vikings around, and not too many ghosts either, but to be fair, you can just utilize the banelings and the Zerglings as a way to jump on top of the ghost before that goes wrong. Nice couple of snipes here from those ghosts as well, by the way, keeping the Hydra numbers low. Another attempt to clean this up comes in, but it looks like it's just barely not enough here for Solar. I think this may be it, guys. I think this may be a GG moment. No, okay, we'll still remain here. I mean, he almost cleaned it up. Cure's gonna send in more troops now, though. Will not be taking too kindly to this slow push. Getting pushed backwards. Starting to incorporate some more heavy machinery here on the bottom side of the map as well. Couple of Zerglings want to have something to say about that. And looks like they will do an alright job with getting rid of those siege tanks. Don't get all of them, but get most of them. Lurkers here. Ooh, a lot of them do get shot down before they get into the ground as well, but we'll be able to do the most important things here. Is that a hatchery he's trying to build? It was. Alright, interesting. Just building a hatchery underneath the command center that is floating there. That's quite fun. Alright, another hatchery goes down. Solar, of course, needs to take control of the either the top side or the bottom side in the middle. And then try to deny the other area for his opponents. That is his ticket here. That is his way to still get something to go into his favor. Lurkers are going to be able to stop a lot of production here, actually. A lot of income as well. Another base does fall for Solar at the same price. Actually, losing a lot more workers here, is he actually. They want to figure out a way to start pushing into the other base in the top right side as well now. Getting rid of the fusion core here. Nice overall. It's not entirely necessary, but it's nice. And there we go. Finally denying the mining down that planetary fortress. Is he going to attempt to take it out, or is he just going to be happy with the fact that he's denying mining there? Looks like it's the latter for the time being. Solar's bank is just absolutely gone right now. But he will be able to still cast quite a bit of frustration and pain onto the economy of his opponent here as well. A couple of siege tanks being sieged up. Solar, I mean, finding a good amount of army supply here from Kure. That's not quite ready to take the fight. Kure still spread out a bit too thin. Anticipating moves on that bottom left side also at the same time. Which is a possibility, of course, but Solar making a coalition of all his units here, pushing through the top right side so far with quite a bit of success and making this game all the more playable once more. Single lurker should be able to get handled quite nicely. Circling counter-attack on the 6 o'clock didn't quite go its way either. Maybe a bit surprised that there are in fact still that many siege tanks hanging about. And that means he's going to try to commit to the middle here. Really not a place I would like to see him try to make something happen. There's just so many ghosts available here for Kure that I don't think he's going to be able to really get a lot of stuff done. Oh, nice snipe on the Viper. Viper not going to get anything done. Not losing anything much against those Banelings either. Kure really on fire here with his control right now. Just get rid of all the all the changelings as well. That is a good thing though. And I don't know. Maybe Solar here is still in a bit more trouble. Yeah. GG is called. Just didn't quite have the army supply anymore. His bank was gutted. Never reclaimed the bottom left side. The top side bases on the 12 o'clock. Also kind of a struggle to reclaim and actually start mining from again. And yeah, GG is called. Kure takes back this series into a playable situation. Gets himself into a 2-2. Sorry, 1-1 scenario. Now, again, was just a massive hold by Kure. Yeah, he definitely held quite nicely. And on multiple fronts as well. I mean, to be fair, a play like that, where you, or a map like that, perhaps, where you are spread out diagonally, that's about as tough as it can get for a Terran army, being that spread out, that spread thin. But, man, Kure just with the micro, the continuous scanning, checking out what is happening where he needs his units to be most, and being able to keep that all in a very neat balance. That's a lot of juggling he had to do, and he did it marvelously. Now, the juggling overall, I suppose we can't really see all that much of the juggling going on, but bloody hell, there were units moving back and forth continuously throughout that game. Very well played by Kure. In the bottom left side of the map, we got that Terran now tying up the score. He is Kure for the Dragon Phoenix Gamers. In the top right side, his opponent playing a really solid game as well, but not quite managing to get himself a victory. He is Solar from the KZ Gamers. And the race is off. This is only the second series so far of today as well, by the way, guys, so still a lot more to come. If we're lucky here, and so I would like to think that we are, Solar will win this one. And we'll get ourselves the 2 other ZVT matchups as well. I mean, otherwise, having the ZVZ between Solar and DRG, pretty darn exciting as well. And Kure versus Bjorn should be pretty darn good as well. I mean, no matter which way it turns out, these players, they are all fantastic players to keep an eye out on to see whether or not they are going to take this tournament in its entirety. Alright. The regular macro sets up here once more. Kjør deciding not to go with the proxies a single time this best of 3. It is something that he's been stepping away from more and more so recently, and I think people are starting to catch on to the fact, so maybe they're going to be able to start playing with that advantage in mind, right? Realizing, Kjør, he's not likely. It's like a 1 in 50%, sorry, not 50%, but 1 in 50 chance that he's going to come across, which is like, what, a 2% chance that he's going to try to do a proxy Rex. It doesn't happen that often, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe 5%, like once in every 20. Reaper aggression once again happening across the map here, but looks like Ino's not all too interested in that Reaper stuff. Third base for Solar, as the third base for Kjør also getting produced. His, of course, being a little bit shy and gonna start up in the main base right next to that other command center. It's like the command center that doesn't want to look too out of place and just kind of wants to stick around the other already more established command center there. There's the starport. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a tech lab coming up on that barracks as well momentarily. And there are those Hellions right now. They are doing a lot. Can I get more? 6 workers. 6 workers for 2 Hellions. I mean, gimme, hubba, hubba. That is a deal of once in a lifetime. To be fair, Solar had been droning up like an absolute insane person. So he's still okay on drones. Lair coming down for Solar as well. The bench is getting themselves a bit of cloak also. I am fairly certain that Solar did manage to get the scout off there. The Queen's a bit out of position. We'll need to reallocate their spinal shooting. I don't know what they shoot, kind of darts. They're dart shooting spinal cords. Oh, that's a lot of drones there. Solar, take care. Starting to burn himself more and more so. I mean, making drones is okay up until a certain point. Eventually, there's Marines coming across the map here. You're gonna need to have some Zerglings and Banelings in order to defend against that. That's the problem here. He's allowed to be as greedy on the drones as he wants to for up until a certain moment. 60 workers right now. The Hellions coming back around. Looks like they will be repaired for the big attack to come in here. And they'll be a big part of it as well, I'd imagine. No armory though, but still the Hellions can provide quite a valuable surface against the siege, well, for the siege tanks and such, against the Lings. Alright, nice cancel on that 4th base. A big boon for Cure, slowing everything down here for Solar. Solar realizing that time is of the essence, so we'll try to get that base set up once again. Cure doing alright so far. Managing to gain control of the economy. And it's got a good grasp on the army supply here as well. Awaiting that move out now. Yes, the 2 medevacts. Wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be the time where he does move out. There's a bit of a flank set up for Solar. I think that is just Zerglings right now. Oh, in fact, it is going to be a Baneling drop. Alright. We've been seeing a lot of Baneling drops today, haven't we? Death to the creep tuber. Pretty much. Ah, there we go. 12 workers. You know what? That's a solid thing. That's definitely a solid thing. Putting Cure back down to 53 workers now. I mean, Cure might be hard pressed to try and make something happen of his own across the map. He is 30 army supply up, so it shouldn't be too much of a hassle for him. Unless if he loses everything here due to a couple of banelings. Okay, doesn't quite. Solar. Yeah, with that Baneling drop. Actually, I really like his position again here. Cure. Still, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't seen any type of attack up until this point. There we are. Finally, this is where he starts moving out. He's still up ahead with 30 army supply, but 30 army supply when there's 100 available is less in general than when there's 60 army supply or something like that available, right? So you still have that 30 army supply difference, but the percentage of how much that is compared to the original army of your opponent becomes a lot less, right? So that 30 army supply, the higher the supply goes, the less important, the less significant 30 supply is. Although it's starting to get quite ludicrous right now. He's almost up 50 army supply. That and the fact that Solar is sending in units for the counterattack here. Still being thwarted as well by just simple reinforcements. A lot of Banelings here. Gonna try their luck for a counterattack as well. And that is just not gonna go their way. A lot of them will get squished, will get squashed. Whatever a Baneling does when it dies. Anyway, that is not a pretty sight. And gonna start up the flank area here now instead. Has another drop on his base on the left side. Not really finding a lot of value there either. A good surround with the Banelings here on top of those Marines. Not allowing them to run away all that efficiently. But this is still looking like a pretty efficient trade for Cure in particular. Because he's also dealing damage with that attack on the left side. He's got another push coming in. 90 army supply strong. About 40 supply difference right now does seem to be the key difference here. And Cure pushes on forwards. We'll get all those drones. We'll get a ton of Zerglings for his troubles here. And that should be all she wrote. Oh, you know what? Nice Baneling connection, but still, there's just nothing much you can get done here anymore for Solar. Solar, a valiant effort there. A good attempt. Maybe if he hadn't taken that damage himself earlier on against with the Hellions, maybe the Baneling drop would have been enough to really solidify the lead here for him and kind of grant him the victory. But Cure, let's take a look at the income graph here. Yeah, just been able to get a lead a little bit earlier on. And never really gave up on that army supply advantage either. Never went back into Solar's favor. Never really had a good trade, army versus army. To be fair, also because Cure never really went for an attack in the first place. So never gave Solar the opportunity to shut down his army. Wondering how much of that was Cure just doing that on purpose with that in mind. Or if that's just kind of the way that it played out on its own. It's hard to say. Cure here though, absolute masterclass. We'll be able to slowly push on forwards here. I would imagine he's not going to mess up his splitting, as that is the one thing he still absolutely has to do. Nice blinding clouds. There we go. There's more splitting, more blinding clouds as well on top of the siege tanks, but you can see that's just not enough. GG is called, and Cure takes himself the second victory.